people of America can thank the Scotch-Irish people for many of our traditions, our cultures, and our heritages. These people risked it all to come to America for a better life. Scholarly sources such as Ron Chesapeake's book, The Scotch-Irish, From the Northern Ireland to Making of America, written in 2000, as well as other sources can confirm this. You can see it in everyday life as well. Today I'll be discussing why they left their homes, their journey over, and where they settled in America, and what it was like for them in their new homes and their lives. The Scotch-Irish left for a number of reasons. One reason, and probably the most well known, was the Great Potato Famine. In the 1840s, a fungus spread through the potato crop across Ireland. This destroyed about 1/3 of the total potato production. This resulted in about 1 million deaths and 1 million people leaving Ireland. Another reason why the Scotch-Irish left was because of the great economic hardships that followed after the famine. The people were in tremendous debt to the landowners when they couldn't produce the crop. They had to deal with high rents and no way of paying it, and the landowners were not forgiving. If you couldn't pay your rent, they would evict you, take everything you had, and leave you homeless. James Donnelly's book, The Great Irish Potato Famine, written in 2010, goes into great detail about this. This past summer, I visited a potato famine village in Northern Ireland. The conditions they lived in were unhealthy and poor. It was a terrible thing to see. Another reason why they left was religious persecution. The Scottish were predominantly Protestant. The Irish people were predominantly Roman Catholic. When James II forced many people from Scotland to move to the Ulster Plantation in Northern Ireland, there was major conflict, said by Mark Mulhern in Northern Ireland, a very short introduction written in 2003. There was also bitterness between the different branches of Protestantism in Scotland, according to Rob Houston's Scotland, a very short introduction written in 2008. Many fled to America to get away from the animosity, but they had no idea what kind of journey they were in store for. Now that I have discussed why they left their homes, I will now discuss their voyage over to America. For those who seem lucky enough to be able to afford the passage to the New World, they had to deal with terrible conditions. Your family had to share one bed, about the size of a modern full-size bed. You had no privacy. That meant you had to change in front of everyone, have all your personal conversations in front of everyone, and even go to the bathroom in a bucket in front of everyone. I visited a replica of one of these ships at the Ulster Plantation, and they informed us that the passengers were not allowed on deck. The only person who was allowed there on deck was the person emptying the bathroom bucket. So for the majority of the passengers, this meant months of darkness. As you can imagine, there was a lot of disease passed around, seasickness, and unpleasant odors floating around in the cabin. Many of the people who came over also had to deal with the fact they left all they knew behind. Some left their families and would never see them again. Some left farms, businesses, and friends for new opportunities in the New World. When they got to America, they had more adversities to overcome. Now that I have discussed the journey overseas, let me move on to my next point, which is they settled in what it was like for the Scotch-Irish. They settled in various places throughout the United States. Many of the Irish people came through the Boston Harbor and decided to stay in Boston and other cities throughout New England. They had to live in poor, underkept, and cramped apartments. They had to work in factories with insignificant pay and terrible working conditions. Even the children had to work. They received a lot of hostility from the American people as well. They thought the immigrants were coming in and taking their jobs because they tended to work for lower wages. But throughout the years, things got better, and now you can see their influence throughout the New England area. Others decided not to stay in the city. Many of the Scotch-Irish spread out throughout the Appalachian Mountains. They built small communities with one another. They had farms, businesses, and they built a sense of home. Throughout the next several decades, the Scotch-Irish people made their way across America, leaving a legacy everywhere they went. In conclusion, the Scotch-Irish people risked it all to come to America. They came for many reasons. They went through hell and back to get there, and when they arrived, they did not have it easy by any means. But today, we thank them for some of America's greatest traditions, cultures, and inventions.
Good job.
Yeah. Great.